Hello again. Grateful that you stayed on with us. This is Breakfast Daily here on ChannelOne Television. It's time to get talking. We've teased out a number of topics from the various headlines, and we want to have a conversation about them. Recall that the show is interactive. Send us your thoughts, your comments, and your contributions via the WhatsApp line. You can jump on our socials and leave comments under the feed. Of course, we're streaming live on YouTube. You can drop your comments there. On Facebook as well. Let us know what you think on X as well. I have three gentlemen in studio with me to help me bring different perspectives to the various topics that we have teased out. We have the National Coordinator for the District Road Improvement Program, a former Minister for Local Government, former Sports Minister, former Member of Parliament for the Odio constituency, the Honorable Nilante Vanderpoel. Good morning, sir. Good morning. Good morning. Then we have the former Member of Parliament for the good people of Impraeso and a former Eastern Regional Minister, Seth Kwame Echampong. Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Yes, and then, of course, Larry Dogbe, the editor of the Herald newspaper. Good morning, Larry.
Good morning.
Good to have you, gentlemen. I trust you are well. Great. We have a number of stories this morning, but we're starting from the judiciary and processes for the removal of the Chief Justice. The minority is calling on the clergy and traditional leaders to stop the president. I'll tease out a few paragraphs from a story on citynewsroom.com, and then I'll pick your thoughts on it. It says, stop Mahama from ousting CJ, minority to chiefs and clergy. The minority in parliament has called on religious and traditional leaders to counsel President John Dramani Mahama to suspend proceedings aimed at removing the Chief Justice, Her Ladyship Gertrude Tokonu. Now, according to the caucus, the petitions seeking the Chief Justice's removal are unfounded and failed to meet the constitutional requirements for her removal. Speaking at an emergency press conference on Wednesday, April 16, the legal counsel for the minority and MP for Suame, John Darkon, stated that sources had revealed to the caucus that the petitions were baseless, necessitating intervention from traditional and religious leaders. Honorable Champo, I'll start from you. I mean, the president is constitutionally bound to carry out this process if he has received petitions for the removal of the CJ. Why is the minority calling on the clergy and traditional leaders to intervene? Why won't they allow, or why won't your side allow for the constitutional processes to continue?
Good morning. I think it is the right of the minority to also express themselves on any matter that emerges in our country. They believe that that is an approach, if they embark upon, they may help with the resolve and redress of this matter that had been within space for some time now. So it is rightly placed, if you ask me. However, you can't stop the constitutional processes. The constitutional processes need to be followed and to be pursued. And my joy is that this is a country that prides itself with the rule of law. And if this process that has been started kicks in, it will be a test of our constitutional democracy that we're practicing. I am hoping that there will be fair hearing. That is, if a prima facie case is established that will warrant the processes to be furthered, then we would be asking for that. But for now, it's early day for me, I must admit, because whatever petitions His Excellency the President has received, he needs to go through the processes and make sure that upon the advice of the Council of State and what recommendations thereof, he will have no choice but to implement just as the Council of State will advise and direct. So for now, for me as a Democrat and as a citizen of the Republic of Ghana, I believe that it's early day and I'm still watching this space. It's never happened because in this country that I have grown and have come to live in, I remember that even under AFRC, we did not disturb the judiciary. Under PNDC, the judiciary was not disturbed. They've been an institution that has guided us in respect of memory, in helping shape our governance systems. And so I remember the first clerk to the fourth Republican dispensation, S.N. Dakwa, used to be at the old Parliament House. And he stayed all through, even when the Third Republic had outlived its life. And we have entered into the PNDC era. He still worked there because a cousin of mine knew him as a schoolmate and used to send me to him. So when we came back into practicing what dispensation we are in today, he is one of the first persons to have made the clerk to the fourth Republican practice we are in. And I say this because it is important that institutional memories are kept. My only worry is that peership competition sometimes misleads and misguides us. And where we are today in respect of our life, you may be at a JCR with a friend, and you may end up in one arm of the state and the fellow in the other arm of the state. And the kind of peership competition you might have had from childhood is still not forgotten of. They still pursue you with it. And there are several tools in deploying to make sure that they get at you and get you to fail. So for us, we are watching the space. I'm a student of history, and I want to just hasten slowly and observe what is going to happen. I wouldn't want to attribute anything to whatever has happened in times past. I just want to see the Constitution being respected, and I want to ensure and pray that we get fairness. That's all.
Very well. Honorable Van Oquaye, John Agyekum Kufuor inherited a CJ from Jerry Rawlings. He worked with him. President Mills inherited a CJ from John Agyekum Kufuor. He worked with her. Why is there this seeming rush to have this CJ removed?
Well, thank you very much. Let me say good morning once again to our viewers and to all of us here. Straight, let me say this is not a novelty. There have been several attempts by various Ghanaians to petition one president or the other for the removal of a CJ based upon certain things they thought were unwarranted of the position. If you read the Constitution very clear in Article 1466, stated misconduct or arrest has been generic. It is not stated clearly in the Constitution what misconduct in this sense means. So various people who have had problems with behaviors and attitudes of Chief Justices have petitioned a particular precedent for the removal of the said Chief Justices. Like the Constitution says, the President will have to consult with the Council of State, and when it's determined that a prima facie case is established, a committee is set up, and then the CJ goes through the process. He gives opportunity to defend himself. This particular CJ, this is not the first time a petition has been written or presented to the President on a stated misconduct. During the tenure of Nana Akufo-Addo, we received a petition. He didn't find it worthy to establish any prima facie case, so it was dismissed just at the tail end of his office. In this particular instance, it is not one petition, but 3 different petitions. So the President did the right thing. Against the wish of some people, the CJ was even given a copy. You understand, to respond to. Normally, what happens is that when the committee has been set up, when it's been determined that there's a prima facie case for the CJ to answer, then she's giving copies of the petition so she could go through. Because normally copies are not given because it could be established that there is no case or there is nothing really strong in the petition. So it will be much about nothing. So there is no need to give it copy. But in this particular instance, President Mahama was kind enough, tactful enough, diplomatic enough, democrat enough to give a CJ a copy. And then, as we see today, we are not sure the report from the Council of State, so we don't know whether a prima facie case has been established, and as such, the CJ is bound on a path of facing the 5-member committee. But I am a bit astounded by the position of the minority because, one, you don't know what is contained in the petition.
Well, according to the legal counsel for the minority,
yes,
he says that they have sources that have revealed to them that the petitions were baseless.
He's just behaving like in Team Fojo. Yes, I don't know whether it's a disease that they've caught now. Sources. What sources? What information that to you is not founded enough to establish a prima facie case? In the Council of State, there are people there who are more qualified than him to be able to determine whether there is substance in the petition or not. A retired Chief Justice is on the Council of State. You understand? We have knowledgeable people there. So why would they? It's like you are preempting what they're going to do. You want to blackmail them and others. It doesn't sit well with a responsible minority. So I think that they are too much in haste to be relevant because of their micro nature. They are too much in haste to make themselves heard because they are still not they're still not realizing that their attitude and behavior leading up to 2024 caused their heavy defeat. They thought that the defeat was just a fluke. So Ghanaians very soon will forget.
But I doubt they thought it was a fluke. They had actually set up a committee
no,
to
I'm telling you.
Which committee presented this report yesterday?
Have you listened to Anodompe recently? Have you listened to him?
On which of the matters? He's been speaking a lot.
No, yes, and he said that, look, he never expected NDC to win these elections. And I've heard him say that he never expected NDC to fall this easily and all of it.
The NPP, you mean?
Yeah, no, NDC. He just said that the NDC is falling 4 months.
Okay, in his assessment of the performance of the government. So I'm saying that
they're still living, they still are traumatized, they still cannot go off the blow they received. They are still wobbling in the dreamland. They are not coming to terms with what happened to them in 2024. The abandonment of Ghanaians was too heavy on them, and they are still dazed. So if you listen to them, they are now not sitting down to really discuss the issues, try and see whether we could be realistic with times, and so maybe let's give time like the way my brother just said, that it's too early in time for you to say that this is what is going to be determined. So with what they have said, if tomorrow a prima facie case is established, what would they say? Would they come out and say the Council of State has acted in bad faith, or they did not look at the petitions before them, or they think there was no merit in the petition by the Council of State established? So sometimes people must give some people the credit they are due, so that they'll be able to do their mandated work and responsibility efficiently. Don't put pressure on the Council of State. Let them do their work. 2, as a lawyer, Daku should have known that the process which has started cannot be truncated by the president. Which constitutional provision in 1466 or any other clause could truncate the process apart from the Council of State determining that there was no merit in the petition.
And so there's no case to answer?
There's no case to answer. So you going to chiefs and clergy, are the chiefs and the clergy going to tell the president to act unconstitutionally? The president should refuse to act as mandated by the Constitution in 146. Is that what you want the chiefs and the clergy to do? You want them to act unconstitutionally? They should go and tell the president to break the Constitution, so the president will now also be the one you put to stake for having infringed on the Constitution. So they think that they can set traps for you. But what I want them to understand is that as soon as they start thinking, we have already thought about the steps we're going to take. Because they are very predictable. And so they give you opportunity to determine what action they will take in every instant. I wanted them to, rest their whips a bit and allow the constitutional process to engage itself fully, and when it has gone its full throttle, and then we shall all know whether Justice Tokunu has a case to answer or not. Me sitting here, look, I've heard so many things. You understand? Look, I have a lot of respect for the Chief Justice. Sometimes you see her and she portrays an angelic face. Other times, no. But then, the sort of things sometimes we hear, and the sort of things someone like me have picked up from people who are close to the judicial system will tell you that all that glitters is not gold. Yes. Yes, she is not as saintly as some of us have perceived her to be. So, I will not sit here and prejudge her. I will sit here and give her the benefit of the doubt that the things that I have heard about her and the way she acts were not true. But if there is substance in the petition and the prima facie case is established, then she will have cemented those suspicions that people have created about her, or those perceptions people have had about her, and she will have convinced me that the sources and information I had about her were good and were reliable. So let's all for now allow the process to continue, come to its conclusion, and then we can determine. I believe she herself, it is in her image that we should allow the process to continue, so that she will either be exonerated or, if there is a case for her to answer, just as she put people before her courts, she will also face the panel, the committee, and defend herself.
Larry, the president is duty bound by the Constitution. I mean, it's quite clear that you cannot enjoin the performance or conduct of public communication on matters like this. And so these calls by the minority, I don't know, is it much ado about nothing?
No, I wouldn't say. Good morning.
Good morning.
And I wouldn't say it's much ado about nothing. I have played a bit around this area, a few, many years ago. There's something. This Ajechum judgment. I have a confession to make. And it had to do with one day going to Bagwin's office as when he was a minority leader. And then on his table was a document. And I noticed that it was a petition that had to do with the removal of Chief Justice Oquaye. Strangely, before I left, the petition found its way into my diary.
How? The petition grew legs.
Found its way
Unethical conduct.
into my diary. And then, reporter exclusive. I came and then did a story. Not long after, then Ajechum went to court. And Ejechum was at the time working with Gabi, the statesman.
Yes.
Yeah. So we published it. I was working with Enquara then, and then we published it. After I got the document, I couldn't call Bright Akwete, who had petitioned.
Yeah.
And I mean, he could have stopped me from publishing. But after the publication, then Ejechum, went to court, saying that the petition, the content of the petition has been revealed. Okay, and to them, it's not proper. Well, the court had a way. The same Chief Justice Oquaye, whose removal was being sought,
Empanel themselves.
and then empanel,
George Kingsley Oquaye.
yes, then empanel Supreme Court judges to hear his own case. Bright fought,
Bright
to whatever,
Akwete.
Bright Akwete, Mr. Bright Akwete, fought to whatever extent, but it didn't go anywhere. Okay, so we've been here before, but I'm using this story to illustrate the point that very often things about the judiciary has become like, a no-go area for a lot of people. Okay, and strangely, you have them, tightening whatever, loopholes there are to whatever extent they can, just to secure or consolidate their position. I think that we can't practice democracy that way. Obviously, if people have issues with your, administration, they should be ready to point it out and then justify whatever it is that they, they are alleging. And I belong to the school of thought that says that let's open the doors for everybody, let's hear whatever it is that, Honorable is alleging and what Van P is also alleging.
But you see, that's what the minority is against.
I'll come to the minority. See, I mean, my memory, we've had Chief Justice Oquaye, succeeded by Chief Justice Aban, succeeded by Chief Justice Oredu, and then Oquaye, and after Oquaye, Georgina Woods. After Georgina Wood, we have who?
Eni
Yeboah. There were petitions against all of them.
Yeah.
Okay. There were petitions.
Almost all of them.
Almost
Okay.
all of them.
But
There was a petition against Eni Yeboah.
Okay.
There was petition against Uredu.
Yeah.
There was petition against
Edward
Georgina
Kwame
Wood.
Redu.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. And then we have Justice Tokonu today,
Tokonu.
who is on the table. Okay. I mean, one was filed. The president then told that's President Akufo-Addo told that, well, it didn't have any merit.
Yeah.
They threw it away. And now three, I mean, we have three now being, put before. Yeah, exactly. Different president. But let's test this particular, area also and see if it's justified. I mean, let the chips fall where they may. But if it's not, I'm sure that whoever would think or conceive in the future that, listen, I need to petition for the removal of the Chief Justice, will come, much stronger. You get it? It will come much stronger, justifying whatever it is. But if it's frivolous, let's throw it away. But on the bit of the minority, there seems to be something, a feeling that I have, that the minority, or let's say the NPP, feels that the judiciary, it's their own, and that very often, don't touch it. This is our area. And very often you've heard them citing the murder of the judges as a justification, to say that, something, I mean, NDC killed,
We kill judges, we are protecting
Yeah, we are
judges.
protective of judges. So that comes up very often. And you just need to, what day do they celebrate that event?
Martyrs Day.
The Martyrs Day. A bust, had been erected for the judges, over there.
At the Supreme Court.
Yeah, under President Kufuor,
Yeah.
that was done. And I overheard, I think former President Rawlings say that, listen, we can't just do that for the judges. How about Major Oquaye, who was also murdered during that period? So why don't we erect a bust for him also? But that debate, eventually became mute. But there's this feeling that we own the judiciary. And you often hear that, anytime there's an issue about, any member, all you hear is that, Famiko court, take me to court, take me to court, take me to court.
But of course, that's where matters of legal jurisprudence.
Oh, yeah, you
are
just don't
resolved.
go to court when, if let's say, so you have your son or your child, okay, and then every time he misbehaves, he brings you a cane. Daddy, here's a cane, no, lash me. Do you get it? It becomes, I mean, it should give you a certain, you know, idea as to how, you know, that child of yours, you know, thinks. That for him, he sees justice over there, so he will misbehave. He will do anything at all. So long as you lash him, he's okay by it. But I think that persistently, you know, this thing take me to court. I mean, the idea that we own the courts, the idea that we could get, you know, things from there. I recall that before President Mahama left office.
But is it the case that they always get things from there?
But that one is clear.
Is
Their
it?
own national security minister,
Kandapa, yeah.
said it right in front of the judges. He said it.
The Chief Justice then.
Yes.
Yeah.
He said, look, if you continue to give the sort of judgments you are giving, then you are concretizing the perception out there that you are biased. He said it. Kandapa said it. He said, look, this unanimous...
But were the judgments biased judgments?
The National Security Minister.
But he's not a judge.
Nana Tufo, you are moderating this
He's not a
program.
judge.
If you allow me to butt in, I'll keep butting in. Please, moderate the show very well. Don't do the work. Because I have other expressions I can come on board with. I don't like this approach where he's citing Kandapa is not here to defend himself. Kandapa was speaking on a subject that he had been given. And he was speaking to information they were picking in respect of expressions from the caucus of the majority of the day. And as a balanced intelligence analyst, he felt that he needed to put out the information he was getting so that if that perception is being a formation, that's what people are forming in their minds.
Could he have done that privately?
No, but this is a public event. He's been invited to speak.
Yes, but
on hindsight, I'm not here to judge him. On hindsight, I won't do it.
Exactly.
However,
Because then it fuels a certain perception out there.
However, he's made it. It's human. I won't sit here and smoke him alive. Do you get my point? For instance, like what Larry was saying, but for this dispensation, I won't be here running my mouth.
Yeah.
You won't get opportunity to say what he's saying. The Constitution gives each and every person the right to express themselves.
Yeah.
That's why my statement about the minority, I said it advisedly.
Yeah.
Because, yes, they have the right to say so. Is it rightly placed? Today, they are the mouthpiece. They are the alternative government. They have to speak. If they don't speak, I will go behind and tell them, Jack, are you guys sleeping on your job? When they spoke, it's become a conversation for us to hold.
They should speak, but how should they speak? Because we've both not seen the petition.
No, when the matter breaks, are we not discussing it now? Does it not become a matter of importance to us as a people? It is because they raised it.
But then we should speak facts to the issues.
Did they don't speak facts?
According to them, they have sources that show that the petitions don't meet the
How
threshold.
is Larry's enterprise practice? And that is how we have been engaging ourselves. We call Larry's practice the fourth estate of the realm.
Yeah.
And they are the ones driving the driving force today. And so you need to trigger. So they pick it up, and the conversation is held.
Even when it is serious.
It's not.
Even when it is serious.
Well, let Larry land on this. Briefly, then I can take a break.
Before I think before Kandapa, this gentleman with law faculty, Atuguba
had this.
Professor Zahn has also said
exactly.
about
But
it.
Atuguba again.
I'm so sorry.
So the incident.
Yes.
Right.
So in his case, he also said it directly in front of the judges. And hell broke loose, just as Kandapa's own as well. I thought that even members of the NPP came out to say that Kandapa should be sacked.
Yes.
And that he shouldn't have spoken the way he did. I remember Frank Davids. Also coming on your one of your news program, City, and I mean he took Kandapa to the cleaners. That's one.
He's the chairman of the NPP legal committee.
Yes. Now to the protection of that ownership mentality.
Seamen.
Okay, those are your words.
Because they've not said they own the judiciary. They haven't said.
But, you know, suddenly you have Alexander Afenyo-Markins talking about how NDC wants to, you know, it's trying to hunt the TJ out. You get it?
From where he sits, that's how he sees it.
He held a press conference when just yesterday.
That's how he sees it.
I'm coming. No,
but Seth just told us that they are the mouthpiece of the part of the shadow government.
Yeah.
They're the shadow government.
Yes.
And they are he's a mouthpiece of the shadow government.
Yes, so that's their perception of what is happening.
So
but is that what is happening?
So it is them.
You will talk and then tell me that I have 2 minutes.
so it's them.
Let's have Larry wrap up on
So
this.
Afenyo-Markins had an NPP program where they presented a Professor Michael Oquaye report.
Yeah.
You know, talked about the CJ, a party event. Party event, CJ. Okay, you give a certain idea to the public there that because it was during your time that she was appointed, you feel that she has to be protected, okay, from whatever it is that is, I mean, being done, however constitutional that is. And then you have John Darko, also, you know, holding another press conference. And I mean, from one of the stories, I think the one captured on your website, it was described as an emergency press conference.
Yeah.
Just on the CJ.
Yeah.
Why is it emergency? Okay. And Darko is what? NPP MP for Swame.
And it's a lawyer.
It's a lawyer.
Legal counsel for the minority.
Thank you. Then you have Asefua
in court.
In court. And indeed, Asefua's case was to be heard yesterday, but for one of the judges, you know, reported being indisposed. You get it?
Yeah.
So, from layer after layer, a certain impression is being created that, listen, this is our area. Don't go there.
Right. Larry, let me take a break. When I come back, I'll come back to you, and then you wrap up on that for me. This is Breakfast Daily here on Channel One Television. Stay with us. The conversation is getting more interesting. We'll be right back. Grateful that you stayed on with us. This is Breakfast Daily here on Channel One Television. Before that break, Larry had established a trend. Yeah. So let's wrap up on that particular trend.
You've seen the trend.
You are the one putting out the trend, so I'm here to follow.
Oh no, but it's so obvious.
Is
Hello? It hasn't been.
Is it?
They are historical facts.
Yeah, so now you are drawing my attention to it.
We've all reported on this before.
You are drawing my attention to it, so we'll look into
it. So for me, I think that we should be careful mixing the traditional, you know, the role of traditional authorities and then the clergy, in the governance of this state. They are very important, but they become like the secret weapon that we deploy when, I mean, we are stuck somewhere. I'm not sure we are stuck on this matter. We just want to test the law, the constitution. I mean, certain things have been said, and we want to find out whether indeed they are true. If they are, I mean, hey, kick her out. If they are not, let's consolidate, you know, her role, and then make that institution better, so that whenever we feel, you know, our right is being abused, we can go before that institution, because there was a certain, you know, Mrs. or Justice Stockton who actually built that institution and made it whatever it is for all of us. So we should be careful, so I mean, we don't push the traditional authorities to be involved in this. I mean, some time ago, you hear about a certain traditional authority pleading on behalf of, you know, accused persons. So the case goes to court and then it doesn't go anywhere. Meanwhile, corruption has been alleged. But all you hear is that, oh, a certain Togbe had begged, a certain Nana had begged, a certain Ni had begged for the person. And for me, I think that we can't, you know, we can't allow that. Clergymen are making all manner of prophecies and so on. We are telling them that, please, you stay, you know. And then the police or the security authorities are warning them that they should be careful not to stop, you know, creating fear and panic. Now we are telling them that, listen, come and mediate on a purely constitutional matter. Instead of encouraging them to, you know, say that the president should do the right thing. For me, I think that is good enough. However, I'm clear in my mind that the minority has seen the petition against the Chief Justice. Because the way from the story that you have,
an emergency,
an emergency, and so on, and that sources have, you know,
and calling on the clergy.
Read that portion again.
I mean, it says, according to the caucus, petitions seeking the Chief Justice's removal are unfounded and fail to meet the constitutional requirements for her removal. Speaking at an emergency press conference on Wednesday, April 16, legal counsel for the minority and MP for Swami, John Darkon, stated that sources had revealed to the caucus that the petitions were baseless, necessitating intervention from traditional and religious leaders.
I know things that I can't say here.
Very well. Let's leave it at that.
I know things that I can't say here.
Let's leave it at that.
But you see, these are bold statements that you know the MP made. They are unfounded. They are what?
He says they are founded and fail to meet the constitutional requirements.
I mean, he's a lawyer. He has taught at Gimpa Law, Faculty of Law. Okay, and he's an MP, a lawmaker now. So he's not making this out of the ordinary. And mind you, see where what he said. It's an emergency thing.
Press conference.
As of yesterday, there were rumors or reports that the CJ has been suspended. So I'm sure that either he had heard that this was to come, or it's
so it's a countermeasure.
Or so it's a countermeasure. Then the minority leader had spoken at Alisa Hotel.
So there was no need for him to
to have done a follow-up describing as emergency. For me, they have seen the thing, and the leakage. I don't want to believe that it came from the Chief Justice, because from what the report so far, the event so far, the presidency only released that document to the Chief Justice. And if you have
what of the Council of State?
Is there? What of who?
Has the Council of State? They must have seen the petition.
Okay, no, but then the Council of State have given it to the CJ. Maybe.
Well, you never know.
Okay, yeah, you never know. True, sure.
You never know.
But from there on, the minority has become a spokesperson for exactly.
Very well.
Do you get it?
I'll take a final round on this, a minute each, please, so we can make some progress on other stories. Oh no.
So cleverly narrated by Larry. I enjoyed.
You enjoyed the narration.
Truth be said, the removal of Justice Tokonu just didn't start as a narrative we're holding today. It was part of a campaign narrative from a government of the day. And the way they took turns to attack her, presidential staffers had opportunity to, who are even learned in the practice. You see, the institution, every institution has its own norms and practices and cultures. And so when you are seized with it, there are ways and means you go about it. I am glad that we are holding this conversation, because it gives everybody the opportunity to have a bite. First and foremost, it's been narrated that previous CJs, maybe one petition, this one, 3, weight has been placed on it. So high premium, why 3? So there's strategy in doing everything you want to do. So I see what is occurring as something being discussed. And like Larry said, there was news yesterday that the CJ has been suspended. There's a way the security will always test waters to see if this action is taken, would it be useful? Would we win? So that's why I kept my statement at the outset that it's early days, we are still observing. Because as we all have 2 ears, I hear from the left, I hear from the right. And so we want fairness. And please, let us remember that this country, we are all not going anywhere, we're living together. And so if you are backing on the journey, ensure, and I remember my good friend PKK, Prince Kofi Klujese, once upon a time told me, Seth, the law courts in Ghana is a marathon. So if you are going to go to the law courts and you don't have the heart to run a marathon, prepare. So I'm quite excited.
He's a lawyer?
No, he's not a lawyer, but he's had a lot, as a businessman, he's made a lot of, you can't do business without
going
to...
Settle.
Sorry?
Settle.
Yeah. Okay. So let me thank you that I'm not surprised of what he will say, but my joy is that he's a Democrat.
Are you predicting what he will
Of course, he's my brother. He's my senior brother. I follow after him, so I know what.
So you know what he's going to say.
I know what he's going to do.
Another team for Joe.
Tim Fojo has done nothing wrong. He spoke his mind as a citizen.
Very well.
And so allow him to live. But he mentioned Tim Fojo.
Very well.
I am very optimistic that the Council of State will discharge its responsibilities efficiently and without bias. But then, as a Ghanaian, they're thinking like Seth. We want the right thing to be done. But we should also be asking ourselves, what is it that this particular CJ alone, there has been petition against her during the tenure of Nanado.
The one who appointed her.
The one who appointed her. And the petition did not come from an ordinary person, but somebody who is also very learned in law.
Yeah.
You understand? Then, this time, 3 other petitions against her. And I hear one of the petitioners.
So that's like 4.
4.
Yeah.
Okay.
You think if we break the secrecy surrounding the petitions and the petitioners, it will do us some good? If we know who has petitioned and why they have petitioned?
But you see, for this country, we decided to craft a constitutional provision which also protects the image and the security of the persons who petition. But Nanado removed this thing, myth, and allow people to know who petitioned against the CJ in the first instance.
Yeah.
So it became very obvious when this petition, at least one of the petitioners in this particular instance, is also known. You understand? I thought that Nanado would have respected the same precedent he set on the Charlotte Osei petition by not identifying the people who petitioned. On countless occasions in that particular instant, he refused to tell us who the petitioners were.
So there we don't know. But we knew the lawyer.
Yes.
Maswal.
Yes. Who was then the acting dean of the law school.
Yeah. And became acting director.
Yes, he was my mate at the university.
Oh, okay.
You know. So I sit here today and ask myself.
And in the last election, he was in charge of, I think, the legal.
Yes,
yeah, of the NPP campaign.
But he has not hidden his political identity.
Oh, okay.
Maswell has not.
Okay.
He has not hidden his political
I thought Gary heard your
I enjoy this show very well.
I would say, just as we've all established, let's allow the process to continue. I'm happy that my president has not violated any aspect of the Constitution. He has, in fact, dutifully allowed the process to go on. He has even been too magnanimous, you understand, in giving the CJ a copy of the petition even before it went to the Council of State.
Right.
Which Akufo-Addo didn't do.
But he had alleged disrespect.
I thought we were discussing Chief Justice Tokono.
No,
what has President Akufo-Addo got to do here this morning?
There was a petition against.
Allow the gentleman who has served the country to enjoy his retirement. What is this President Akufo-Addo?
Even when the uncharacteristically the issues and the petition, the details of the petition were made public. Even when the president himself has not even transferred it.
You've had occasion to praise your president. I haven't said anything. You've done it 1. 2, you want to go further. You want me to come in.
Please don't. Please don't. Oh. Land on this.
Okay. So I'm saying that I have nothing against Justice Tokono. She's a nice lady, as far as I'm concerned. My distance that she's a God-fearing person, just like all of us sitting here, especially as Seth.
No, this smile on your face.
But somebody must ask a question. What is particular about her that there are petitions about her? In fact, and let me correct Seth, none of the so-called petitioners, as far as I know, are certified NDC members.
But they have some level of association.
So you see, yes, with NPP.
Whistle here now.
Right.
Yes.
Said,
but Professor Zah is MPP.
We don't know the petitioners.
Professor Zah is MPP. Dr. Amakuba is MPP.
Senior brother of mine. Oquaye is a nationalist. That's how I call him. He advises John Mahama. He advises Akufo-Addo.
Very well.
If you don't know,
No, but he himself said it that he has roots in the NPP.
So
let's not get into the individuals and where they
yes.
But when it comes to interest, I say he advises President Mahama. He advises President Akufo-Addo. So he's a nationalist.
Okay, I agree with you. So as a nationalist,
so a nationalist has petition.
on a matter of national interest.
On a matter of national interest. But would he be right? That's also a question we have to ask.
And that's why there's a
So we
constitutional
have to
process.
go into the matter. That is why I said it's early day for me.
Very well.
I know too much for me to just begin to just open my mouth and be running my mouth.
Now,
I just have
coming
to
to your
watch.
party.
Oh,
So
my party, I'm here for
go.
my party.
Yesterday,
Don't you say I'm a blue
Oquaye-
party man? That's why I'm in my blue dress.
and it really looks good on
Thank you so much. That's like yours.
But I'm also wearing blue.
I'm trying to
Your
get you
shade of
closer.
blue, we are not too sure. It's the shade of blue. We are not
You
too
see,
sure.
he intentionally wore
still with my
green.
green.
He intentionally wore green.
Yes, because we are still on the resetting agenda. Honorable, yesterday, Professor Oquaye's committee presented their report to the party. I've heard Richard Ahimba says that you won't make it public. I'm not sure why. We need to know what happened. The committee was set up to look into the defeat of the party in the just ended elections. And now we are being told that another committee is being set up to review the constitution of the party and suggest reforms for the party. What could be in that report to warrant all of these?
Thank you very much. I think a body set up that committee and gave that committee terms of reference. And we have to respect corporate governance. And so when term of reference is being given, it's the same body who reserves the right as to how the report she has received, how would she display it. In the wisdom and the counsel of that body, it says that, hold on, I believe that we need a second group to go through it and advise us before we even start anything, because it's so voluminous. And mind you, we are living in a strategic community. So for me, it's strategy. We have our competitors who are in government today who would want us to fail in every area. And so we should also protect ourselves to succeed. And how best do you succeed? By faith, which is the Christian faith. It says if you want to communicate with your maker, you shut the door, walk into your closet, and go before your maker. So what occurred that happened to us, we believe that we have to go before our maker. And if you are going before your maker, you shut the door and then ensure that you do the right thing. And so there's nothing untoward. We're just being guided and cautious so we don't err, because we want the best. The kind of defeat we suffered, kind of defeat we suffered.
You have supporters out there, you have fans out there. You've done a post-mortem on your defeat.
The beauty of this is that we have supporters there. The supporters have representatives. Our party is run on a constitution. The constitution, which is a framework, gives representation to all our supporters within that body called the National Council, the highest decision-making body out of Congress, aside Congress. And Council represents all of us, our interests. All shades of opinion appear in Council. And so that is how we go about it. We wouldn't want to break the rules of Council. And so we are going to follow the advice of Council. It has set up another body which is going to understudy the report that we've received and then offer Council its recommendation. Council will sit over that recommendation and take the next steps. Similarly, like we're having in our earlier bite, I said it's early day. We don't need to rush. This is not the first time we are losing an election. We lost an election in 1996. We didn't participate in an election in 1992. We lost an election in 2008. We didn't lose an election in 2000. We won an election in 2000. We won an election in 2004. We lost an election in 2008. We lost an election in 2012. We won an election in 2016. When we lost the election in 2008, we formed a body similar to this. So it's not new to us. It's something we've done before. We've been there before. So we are doing what we have experience over, and we believe.
Let me correct you. You participated in 92 elections.
We participated in 92 elections at the parliamentary level.
No, at the presidential.
Oh, sorry, at the presidential level.
Yes.
And because, yes, you are right, we participated.
Yes.
Partly, not fully.
No, don't say partly. You participated in elections.
You contested the presidential.
Yes, the presidential elections. And then when you saw that defeat was looming, you ran away from the parliamentary.
You see,
we can go into that.
You don't want to go there.
No, he's just trying to sidetrack me.
No. You said, I'm correcting you. You said you didn't participate in 92.
You know, as a debater, I don't go back. I'm not an entrenched person like you.
Thank you. So you've accepted that you participated.
Once you have raised the issue that we participated, we participated in the presidential elections.
Yes, because it was on a different day.
After the parliamentary, after the presidential elections, we're supposed to have the parliamentary elections, and then we boycotted the parliamentary elections.
Yes,
and
you ran away.
We boycotted it.
You ran away.
We boycotted it on principle. The joy why we boycotted it ended up getting Ghana to have both elections run the same day. So the actions we took brought Ghana benefit.
Right.
That is what
was
I
the boycott
want.
Because you wanted it on the same day?
No, Larry, no.
But reforms came after the boycott.
We have led. You see,
right.
do you know why I'm happy? It's good we came in opposition. When we were in opposition, we helped Ghana. We're able to do good reforms and push. Why should we stay here? I'm happy we're in opposition because we're coming to ensure that the reset agenda they are describing, which they will not be able to achieve.
Oh, really?
Okay. Definitely would package it decently and make Ghana better. That is what we do.
Very well.
And we know how to do it very well. They will laugh at us. They will tell us that we're going to remain in opposition in perpetuity.
But he who laughs last.
Oh, you see, I wouldn't want to run my mouth too much this morning. Because I'm preparing myself. Today is a Holy Thursday. And sometimes, if you are before your maker, you don't talk too much. But like I've said, the party is taking good decisions. Let all of us respect the decisions of the party.
So, you mentioned earlier that it appears they've not come to terms with the 38%.
Seriously, you know, let me say this. I think the NPP is confused at this moment in time.
Why so?
You set up a committee to investigate factors that led to your heavy defeat. And then when they submitted the report, you say you set up a committee to review your constitution.
Well, this could be a recommendation from that initial committee's report.
Well,
but they mentioned that the content of it was not disclosed.
Yes, but for the NEC, they will be aware of the contents.
Really? When the report was just being presented?
Being tabled.
You see, we didn't leak our party's report.
You did not.
Like the CJ's one has been leaked. And people are sitting on it, they don't want to talk. Where you are?
I want to go with Adwoa Safo and also Amakuba and say that the factors that led to the defeat of the NPP are well known to them. And Adwoa Safo, like this, mentioned one or two. She's not all the
to you as well, because I've heard the NDC over time passed verdict on why the NPP lost.
I was privileged to have served on the committee that investigated our defeat in 2016. I was part of it, so I know. I agreed with them. There are sometimes some of the revelations that you get from such a committee's work could be very injurious that we did not put in the public domain. Some of the matters are basically house matters, pertains to the party, how to restructure the party in order to make it more resilient for the next elections. So those things, it's a matter of strategy. You don't put in the public domain. So I have nothing against they deciding not to put the report in the public domain. But like Larry said, or you said, there are certain aspects of the report, whether you like it or not, the public must know. You understand? Because at the end of it all, whatever mechanism you try to put in place for the reorganization and the re-engineering of the party will have to have a reflection on the people.
Exactly.
The people who want to know whether it is really their feelings that are being carried out or not. For example, After the 2016 election, when we had our committee meeting, people said that the system we used in selecting parliamentary candidates in the previous election and also even the presidential candidate were flawed. So we have to come back. And meanwhile, we had a system, and we thought that system was not proactive enough, so we moved to another system. But when we finished elections, the report said that that system we adopted was not suitable. So we had to go back to our previous system. We couldn't have done that without listening to the people. When we did that, to some extent, it inured to our benefit because we improved upon our performance in 2020 and then did better in 2024. You understand? So I agree. But I'm saying that the NPP are hemorrhaging. And it is serious. It is serious, because I've listened to Chairman Sabonsu. I've listened to Ajasafo. I've listened to Amakuba. This morning, I heard Educhum and others. Up to today, the leadership of the party, because the names I've mentioned are all part of the leadership of the party, are not convinced that they lost because they were oblivious of the realities of the time. And that is something that they must look at. They must rather look at their system of governance, the sort of things they did, which made even their strongholds melted like butter. You understand? They shouldn't just be too technical about the issues and to think about constitution. Because sitting here, I don't know what is really wrong with their party constitution. Because their party constitution, the structure of their party, apart from their system of choosing delegates, which with theirs is so fraught with corruption.
Is it?
Oh yes, they themselves himself has said it.
I haven't said anything, please.
Oh, said.
I haven't said that.
You know, it's so manipulative. Theirs is so manipulative. Unlike the NDC one, that is clearly established.
And he became a victim.
Yes.
He's a victim of it.
Yes.
Or you are not.
Nobody says agenda for me on in my passion week. He's been doing everything
so
to.
You are before your maker.
Yes, in my passion week. In my passion week.
So I think that
I think it's one of the reasons persons have started calling for an expansion of the network.
I think so. Because you see, with NDC, next year we'll be going for branch elections. Right from there, as soon as the branch elections are conducted, the people elected are deposited, their names are detailed, it becomes part of the national database. So when it gets to time of elections, the register is not generated by the constituencies and the branches. It's generated for the national.
Yeah.
So if you elect somebody today, and for one reason or the other, the person cannot perform the function, to even change the person is not easy within the NDC circles. But with NPP, a week to elections, the police station chairman can change the register.
No.
So it happened to you.
No.
It happened to you. You complain to me.
We have
Clear the air on this.
No, the matter is that we have established structure. Every polling station have its identifiable members, and then we have gone ahead to take pictures of the persons.
Members.
The procedure we use.
Who become the delegates?
The procedure we use in the national elections by identifying that every voter is seen by their image, their bio is seen, is the same thing that we do.
In the selection of delegates?
In the selection of delegates. When we have selected the delegates, we then will prepare an album of all these delegates.
When do you select the delegates?
We select them when the party gives room for that time. There's a duration. No, it's a party management matter.
Yeah.
You can now we are in the face of it. Every party has a calendar.
Right.
And I always say we live in a country where we run a cycle of elections. Every year there's an election.
Very well.
Every year there's an election.
Well,
and so
let me come to Larry.
we have an established album, and the album is kept at the office of the General Secretary.
Right.
And when we are going to go to a primary, that album is brought out. And everybody knows. It's given to all candidates.
Thanks for that clarification.
Yes.
Larry.
Yeah.
NPP matters.
Okay. Let me begin from this point. I think that the NPP is not helping us, including, I mean, their supporters mainly, the people who do the leg work every election. And by not releasing this document for all of us to go into it and be, know whatever it is that led to their quote and unquote abysmal performance. I mean, for a party that wants so much vote to be reduced to a paltry 38% was unimaginable. And this is not a party that was in opposition, but a party that was in government and trumpeting achievement upon achievement, social intervention upon social intervention, agenda upon agenda.
Including Sisifia.
I'm sure that will come under dancing. We should be having the report now and go into it. I'm saying that reference to the Kwesi report, which Ni has mentioned that he was part of. I think that NDC also didn't do Ghanaians any good by keeping that document. You get it? Because there are certain things in there.
But we brought an executive summary.
Oh, you did?
We brought out an executive summary.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
So that people could also be part of it.
You still have it?
I think I have a copy.
Okay, I would love to. Yes. I would love to see a copy.
To be fair, Justin Kodua has said that they are yet to go into the details of what entails in the report, and whatever it is they have to communicate, they will. It is rather Ahiagba who says they will not make it public.
But if Kodua said that,
whatever it is they have to communicate.
What is the basis for the formation of the committee?
Do
a review of the constitution.
Of something you haven't gone into.
Yes.
Something you haven't appreciated. Okay. So
the review of
perhaps
the constitution.
Seen a summary of the recommendations.
Yeah. So you should let us know that. Oh, we've had.
Are you an NPP member? Are you an NPP member?
So now do you feel as a council?
Professor Mills late told us.
So I'm sure they should have given it to us,
to the public,
for us, because it's the public that votes.
Yeah.
Okay, and so if things were wrong, I mean, let's know it. That is the only way. I recall. Let me quote.
So Larry, then add that what the Germans do.
Yeah.
Government must begin to give political parties money.
Yeah.
So they will use it to run their political parties. Then they become accountable to the public purse.
Well, I think that debate has been overflowed.
Yes, but are we practicing it? Have we gotten there yet?
But
so then you can't demand same.
There's a judgment of the Supreme Court that says
judgment, but are we implementing
in this country? Our political parties are public entities.
Yes.
It is not private.
But I live in the public. And I chose to have my private conversation. The law allows me to have my private conversation.
So, we should have had access to all this document, not even an executive summary, as Ni pointed out. Because very often, I mean, these are people who come to us for us to present their policies before us. Now, if there are issues as to your performance and what led to your defeat and so on, I mean, we should know about it. You get it?
Yeah.
Give us a document, let's study it. It helps yourself. This thing about not washing your dirty linen in the public. Jerry Rollins had another way of saying it. If the thing is smelling,
how long can you hide it?
How long can you hide it? And we should open the window and then the doors.
You know what's interesting? Musa Dankwa of Global Info Analytics, just around the time this committee released this report, has done a poll on who to blame for the party's defeat.
Yes, on the who to blame.
And it's interesting.
On the who to blame, you talk to people and some tell you that, I think Adjo Asafo even gave a hint of that the committee wanted to blame Baumia. Okay.
Which Abopapo did yesterday. No, 3 days today.
No, let's leave him out of this conversation.
Is it a strategy?
Let's leave him out of this conversation.
Is it a strategy of your editorial team to introduce Musa Dankwa's conversation?
No, I'm just
because
saying.
It is feeding into
it's
not tying into it. It is rather feeding into their narrative.
It ties into. I mean, you have tasked the committee to look into why you lost. A poll, just as he conducted a poll prior to the election ascribing percentages to who was going to win and by how much. He has done a post-mortem on his own, just as you have done. So I just feel, I mean, it ties into it, basically.
Smart uncle, good one.
So, and then others, this morning I called a few people and they told me that, oh, you know, the report rather blamed the president then, as in President Akufo-Addo, over some of his policies and then the attitude of government and so on. Yeah, Ethiopia kind of, you know, and that is also there.
Yeah. Some of the MPs who participated have said that. Some of the MPs who participated
so you don't
in
know,
the sessions have said that.
Right.
And Honorable said, some of these speculations are going to go on and on and on and on until people, you know, get access to the document and then kind of point out all that. Okay, oh, that this is what was discovered. Some have even said that the choice of running mate was the issue, and that, I mean, the running mate didn't add anything at all. Kumase in particular, it didn't add anything. We should look.
But was silently,
he's not comfortable with that statement.
Who?
The running mate.
The running mate.
I mean, let's not go. We'll start a conversation about the running mate. That's not
his discomfort is not
briefly. Will keeping the report and silently implementing its recommendations help?
I think that, see, I would also have loved NDC to do, you know, an assessment of what led to their victory.
Their victory.
Do you understand?
Okay.
Then they would appreciate why people voted for them.
For them.
That would shape their policies as well.
Exactly.
The military has a strategy that, you know, victory or defeat,
you
review your strategy. Exactly. So that, I mean, did anything go wrong?
It's part of the security.
It's a standard procedure.
Yeah.
Okay. So I would love NDC to have a report like that as well. It will guide us, you know, or guide them in their in the governance of the state. But I mean, hiding these things. Okay. NDC, there's something I discovered about their treatment of the media, which was part of the Kwesi committee report.
Yeah.
I'm not sure that treatment has been made any better.
Oh, are you sure?
Oh,
we've had much more friendly relationship with the
media. They keep the info to their chest.
Me, are you sure?
Oh yes, I can say.
The media.
I can say it's much improved.
Well,
much improved.
But there's still room for improvements. They can do better.
Under President Akufo-Addo, I could call people while I developed sources within the government, even at the presidency, and they could give me information. It's difficult right now to call anybody.
But there were so many other journalists who were also complaining about the fact that the government was not friendly to them.
As in the Akufo-Addo government. Well, they weren't friendly to me either.
But you could access information.
Yeah, you could access, you could call people.
Unlike now.
Sources that you've built over the years, long before they went into government. Now it's becoming a bit tight. It's becoming a bit tight.
In fact,
maybe it's early days. Maybe it's early days.
In fact, when you have a sort of position that is roaring, all its interest is to damage and not to contribute to the development of the country, you should be careful how you relate.
But I don't think the likes of
some of the
Larry
information.
some of the information
you see, when I was in GIJ, he was a lecturer there.
Yes.
this blackmail.
He was a lecturer there. So he knows what I was talking about. He knows what I'm talking about.
Exactly.
I agree with you.
That's only. So, I mean, listen, we all develop contact. You grow with your sources.
Yeah.
They get rusty, you oil them, you move on, and so on and so forth. I think that you only have to open up. And particularly when
I agree with you.
Charlie, we are discussing NPP. Why you can't give him this counsel when we have left the show?
No, it's part of it. I'm just saying that if the report is available.
This is
as a professional journalist,
Yes.
as a professional journalist and a broadcaster, I totally agree with you. I totally agree with you because information is not just to also destroy, but it's also to build.
Precisely.
And I think that even though we are in government, we've won a landslide elections. Like you said, it's important that critically we look at how the media perceive our victory. How the people themselves, why they give us the victory. We should always be able to have these two factors to guide us in our daily activities in order to either sustain that goodwill the people have given us and also be able to watch our backs. Because the media will always correct you. And I'm happy. So if we did something that is right and we get a praise, the same way if we did something that is wrong.
You get a criticism.
Just 3 days today, our new mayor of Kumasi
Yeah.
has received both positive and negative, media.
Because he wants to flog the people.
Yeah, he has received negative and positive press.
Yeah, yeah.
You have to take it, measure it, and see what you need to do. Will you be an example for other government appointees?
I need to take a break here. I need to take a break. When we come back, Larry, you wrap up on this matter for me. All right, this is Breakfast Daily here on Channel One Television. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Thank you so much for staying with us. This is a news review segment on Breakfast Daily. We're discussing the NPP and the post-mortem that they've done regarding the 2024 general elections. I'll take a few of your messages and then I'll have Larry wrap up on that. This one says, good morning, everyone. Why is the NPP crying more than the CJ? Or is it the CJ who engaged them to defend her? Please, NPP is making the CJ's case more complex. They should stop. This is from Ibrahim from Tumu. This one says, Nana, please let's allow the president to do his work. Evans Odun from Community 18 regarding the CJ matter. Larry?
Yeah.
Yes, let's wrap up on the NPP.
Yeah, you see, the NPP has a very peculiar, organogram where whatever the top decides is what, prevails. Unlike NDC, where the grassroots is what shaped the narrative from leadership. So I think that is what they want to capitalize on. That we have received a thing, but we are not going to kind of disclose the content of it. However, we'll put in place, some mechanisms to correct whatever went wrong. It will be the same leadership who were part of the problem, sitting somewhere saying that something, we are correcting ourselves. Who reviews whatever it is that you're doing?
Sure.
Okay. So I think that we should see the report.
Yeah.
I'm hoping that by the close of the day today, friends of mine, will send me
your sources with you.
Oh yeah. I have cultivated a few of them.
We have just a few minutes to go. But yesterday, His Excellency President Mahama launched a 1 million coders program. I'll start with you. You want to empower the youth with digital skills. Do we have the infrastructure to contain same?
Well, it's one more electoral promise fulfilled. Prior to the elections, President Mahama said we're going to count on the digital infrastructure that we had built with the sort of interest shown in the previous government between 2013 and 2016. President Mahama was so much interested in the digital space that we spent money in building a new fiber optic infrastructure. We built the International IT Center at Kwame Nkrumah Circle. Yeah. We also strengthened the Kofi Annan IT Center. We did a lot to open the IT space. I wouldn't say the previous government did not add anything, but they also came and used the infrastructure we have built to introduce certain interesting initiatives in the IT space. So during the campaign, President mentioned this 1 million coders program. And I wasn't surprised when along the line, Baumia caught fever with it and also said he was also going to introduce 1 million IT, youth program. So it is an initiative everybody appreciates. The youth, whether we like it or not, today the youth are much more open to the IT space than our time. Right. I was born before computers, so the sort of things my son could do with a computer. One day, my son just locked all of us off the system in the house. Right. I came home, I was trying to fidget with the TV, it wouldn't happen, and he was laughing at us. Not knowing he has demobilized everything by just his own. So we have to plead with him before he restored everything. And I was astounded because I can't fathom what I could do with certain things. Right. So it is good that we are opening up the youth. And I was very happy with what President Mahama said, that we want to build a system where Ghana will not be a consumer of technology from outside our jurisdiction, but want to build a very resolute and resilient technology infrastructure that is also hammered on human resource.
Very well.
That will push Ghana to the next digital competitive world.
Very well. Thank you, Nick. Honorable Champon, you were heavy on digitalization, so this should be good news.
We said we're going to do a similar thing, and they have started it. I'm looking at the implementation, how they're going to go to achieve it. Like he was giving the resume of President Mahama. President Mahama, once upon a time, used to head such a ministry. Even when the party went in opposition under President Kufuor, he became the ranking member, was a spokesperson.
Right.
It's an area he has a lot of interest in, and he's put my kid brother Sam in the place. We are watching what they're going to do. We just hope that they give jobs to the Ghanaian youth to work, and they will do it fairly and squarely, so they don't allow some biases
in there
to
really
influence the implementation.
We're
going to be observing the space with keen eyes.
Very well. Thank you, Honorable. Larry?
Yeah, I'm just looking at the papers, and then the story is not on any of the front pages.
It's actually on the front page of the Daily Graphic.
Is that?
The editorial team produced it for us.
It's on the front page of the Daily Graphic. It's just that the hard copy they did not come.
I've been listening to their news since.
Yes, but I'm talking about the newspapers. I'm talking about the newspapers.
I'm sure they didn't bring all the newspapers here. That's
Yes,
why I didn't
the
find
graphic did not come early. That's why it's not here. But it's on the front page of the soft copy.
No, okay, but me, I'm talking about.
It's not very easy.
Yes.
The Chronicle did not see this as important.
You know.
Well,
yeah.
so that's how graphic captured it.
Do you own Chronicle? Then so Educhum's.
Do you own Chronicle?
What is it? You have just about 60 seconds.
I mean, some of these things you have to engineer them.
Yeah.
But did you put it on your front page?
No, I didn't come out today. Some of these things you have to engineer them. You get it? So as ministers or, I mean, PROs of these institutions and so on, you have to engineer some of these things. Okay. Now, he mentioned that President Mahama, that is his ministry.
Yeah.
And so he takes it very passionately.
Yeah.
And I think that okay.
Yeah.
Good.
So now you have Times and then Graphic.
And Daily Graphic.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Okay, but the private newspapers also, should have captured it. So President Mahama takes some of these things, I mean, very passionately. He's very active on, most social media platforms. He could go on Facebook and then even send a message like the sorry, I was going to say Educhum, the other guy, Intim Forge's directive for, on the cocaine matter.
Right.
So he's quite active. Now, coded training the people with in coders.
Yeah.
See, we very often say that Japan, China, Finland, and all these other countries are quite advanced. They are advanced because of their use of technology. To where they are now. Very often we also watch the documentaries of kids in primary school or even lower designing some of the watches that we are wearing. You get it? If we can deploy some of these things at the basic level, it will develop interest that will eventually shape our way of life. IT is a new frontier. People are making billions of billions.
Wrap it up for me. We need to go, unfortunately.
People are making a lot of money from this. Our dependence on cocoa and gold, it's been proven that it's not, worth it anymore. And so if we are,
gradually losing sustainability.
So if we are looking at something else, it's good. But it shouldn't just be a 9-day.
Larry,
it shouldn't be a 9-day wonder.
Unfortunately, we have to go. But thank you so much, Larry Dogbe. Thank you so much, the Honorable Seth Kwame Champon. Thank you, the Honorable Nilante Vanabo. There's actually a question for you regarding DRIP, but I'll put it to you after the show. But I mean, we've run out of time.
A happy Easter, and I pray that we all come back next week stronger.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Let me take opportunity to wish my daughter, my first daughter, happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
How old is she?
God bless her. All right, thank you so much. My name is Nanatu. This has been the News Review on Breakfast Daily. Thank you for watching. But stay with us. We have more coming your way.